All right, we're just about to get started here, so hang on about 3 more minutes and we'll get started. All right, welcome everyone. Sorry about that delay here. Just throw this up. Welcome to the Aspen Triathlon Club, our Wednesday night cycling session. Coming to you from Aspen, Colorado, and my name is Thomas McPherson, the head coach here and the chief scientist. Okay, so let me come back to your comment, Everett, as we have a 12-minute warm-up before we get into work, but just going to explain the workout here for everybody online. So we're going to start with a 12-minute nice progressive warm-up. So start easy, and then we start building and working harder and harder as we get through the 12 minutes. At the end of that 12 minutes, we're going to have a 3-minute recovery. Everett, you're going to have a 5-minute recovery. And then we're going to get into 35 minutes of that sustained FTP, that functional threshold power. So it's going to be a little bit higher than our race pace, but we're going to try and, the purpose of this extended interval, 35 minutes, is we're trying to push something that's called time to exhaustion, okay? So when we talk about functional threshold power, it's how much power, theoretically, you can hold for 60 minutes. That's how everybody summarizes it. But it's not really true. For a lot of athletes, it's the power that you can hold between 30 and 75 minutes. Some athletes can only hold it before 35. Mine's personally, right at the moment, around 35 minutes. And then I start to fatigue and it drops off. And so what we're doing in these extensive intervals, instead of having, say, 3 by 15 minutes or 4 by 10 minutes, we're just doing one long sustained effort because we want to push that 35 minutes out to 37, out to 45, out to an hour and a half. And that gets us faster, okay? So a lot of people think, I need to put more power through the pedals. I need to increase my FTP wattage. So if I'm at 230 right now, I need to get up to 240 to be faster. It's not necessarily true. If I want to be faster in a race, if I can hold 230 for 75 minutes, I'll be faster, even though I haven't changed my functional threshold power. So it's really important to think of the holistic approach, not just, I need to increase power, I need to increase power, I need to increase power, okay? So for you, that would be, I need to be able to not necessarily work on muscular strength to get up maroon bells, but I need to be able to hold that strength so that I can get up the entire hill without falling off. And so for that, for us, maybe right now we would climb maroon bells and we would get halfway, and then we would really have to start gearing down and struggling and fighting. After a few weeks of working on this, we can get up maroon bells the full 45 minutes and still have effort left in us. And that's great. So when I said before, this is the culmination of all the work we've done. If we think about that house and those layers that we talked about, where your top is your anaerobic power, then your VO2 max. Now we're getting to the aerobic power. So we made sure that we moved up our max power, we moved up our VO2, so now we have room to really build that FTP, really bring it up as high as we can get it. We're getting much more race specific now. So someone like you, Jenny, we may do a few weeks of this, then pop back to VO2 max, and then come back to this because we have time before your race. I personally have 2 weeks before my first race.
Wow.
So this is vitally important for me. Everett's coming up, I think a month till his first race. 5 weeks till his first race. So this is going to be incredibly important for Snow Canyon. Do you know what Snow Canyon is yet?
Yeah, I just looked at the profile.
Snow Canyon is that final climb that's probably 30 to 45 minutes. It's essentially maroon bells at the end of the 56 miles. Yeah. And the thing that you need to know, the beginning of it, relatively easy. The last half mile kicks up hard. So save something for that last half mile. But what are you going to be doing when you're climbing for 45 minutes at the end of a half Ironman bike? You're going to be doing sustained FTP, extended interval, where you need to be, you can't pull back. You're going to fall off your bike or have to put your foot down. And then trying to get started again, not going to happen. So this will be incredibly important for you too, Everett. Coming in on 5 minutes left of the warm-up, 3 minutes left for you, Everett. You can start working a little bit harder now. I usually say gear up one every 2 to 3 minutes if you can. You want to get the blood flowing. So Everett, what was your question that I said I'd come back to? Cadence, okay. So because you're doing an assessment, self-selected cadence will give you the highest power that you can get. I would also recommend try and be in your TT position for as long as you can, but you're gonna hop out of it because you're working at an effort well higher than you'll ever be working in an actual race, okay? So when we do like VO2 max efforts and stuff, you can be up in your bars to get enough oxygen in. But when we're doing sweet spot efforts, even Jenny today, our sustained FTP, try and hold the aero position for as long as you can. But you're probably gonna come up into your bullhorns. So that's fine, that's normal. But in terms of cadence, it comes back to that genotype that we talked about before. If you have a lot of fast twitch muscle fibers, really good at putting on muscle and strength, you tend to have a lower cadence. You tend to grind the gears more. And that is fine. Some people that are more slow twitch can go forever, tend to have a higher cadence and put the strain on their heart and lungs. And that's what you want to work towards. And so I said this before, I think my average cadence was around like 72, 75, way too low. So my legs would just be fried in an hour because I was just doing too much muscular demand. Over the course of a long time, you can build it up. What I would suggest is to donate a macro cycle, so like 3 weeks, really focusing on higher cadence efforts. Start with 1 minute and 90 plus. Then try and push that out to 2 minutes at 90 plus.
Right.
And just keep doing those types of intervals, and you'll build it.
Like, keeping this like about 90 for probably 7 minutes now.
Yep.
And that was the fun part. I want to gear up.
And have it under torque. So when you're under load, holding it.
Yeah.
So that's partly more difficult on a trainer because you don't have the lack of inertia of rolling on a road. You're constantly trying to create power against something that's fighting against it.
Right.
So it's harder to do on the bike. You'll find you'll hold it more when you're out on the road. But pay attention to this interval. What I want to see is, does your cadence go up like this by the end, or does it drop off like this? If it drops like a rock, a lot of the time that's neuromuscular. And the neuromuscular fatigue is the problem, and you have to train that just like anything else. For me, hard efforts go from low cadence. When I get close to the end, it gets higher to try and put more load on my lungs and heart. So we'll watch that. So Everett, you're gonna drop in 10 seconds to just 100 watts. Nice, easy 85 cadence. Jenny, we have 2 more minutes of warm-up. Gonna talk to you about our intervals, because ours is a little bit different. We have it broken down into 3. 35 minutes broken down into 3. Our first 10 minutes are gonna be low cadence torque intervals. 60 to 70 RPM, high muscular demand, get in some of that fatigue. The next 15 minutes, it's gonna be 80 to 90. Nice comfortable range, what we typically expect our race cadence to be. And then the last 10 minutes, 90 plus. So that's teaching us to spin while fatigued. And that can be very difficult, especially when we don't have a break to recover and jump back in. So 10 minutes torque, 15 minutes race cadence, 10 minutes high cadence, okay? In the high cadence, try not to bounce, but you'll really notice the difference on your legs in all of these 3 different efforts. 50 seconds left of our nice long warm-up here. Just finishing up that 12-minute progression. All right, everybody good for what they're gonna be doing?
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Can you help us start my watch?
Start it now? Perfect. There's really important data I want to get from this, so from both of you. 20 seconds. How nice is it with the good weather coming? 10 seconds. This is one of the first sessions we've had without a snowstorm. 3, 2, 1. Now we're going easy. 3 minutes easy. So you are continuing nice and easy for 3 more minutes. We want to bring the cadence nice and comfortable. Don't overdo it in these efforts, in this recovery, because it's going to hurt in the 35 minutes. So there's 2 different types of recovery I'll talk to you about before we go. I'll prescribe passive recovery, which is like no resistance, either get off your bike and walk, completely stop. It's rare on the bike, more common on the run. Or slow, sustained effort, which is about 50%, or for you, I think below 68% of your threshold heart rate. It's really low, like 100. So letting it come down. I mean, it takes time for your heart rate to come down, but that should just tell you how easy it should be. Our pacing, similar to every other time, we're gonna break it into quartiles. Any chance you saw my blog post recently?
Yeah.
So I did a blog post on Monday, about, well, essentially how I screwed up a 5K assessment. And I went out way too fast.
Yeah.
And it talks about pacing for each quarter of the 5K. And so I had to redo it. And so I compared the two and how it affected my overall race. So I'd recommend taking a look at that.
Okay.
But essentially,
Where do you put the link on Instagram?
it's on the Aspen Triathlon Club website. There's a blog portion, and you can just go on there and read it. I'm trying to put all of the blogs that I write on there as well. Right? Only one. 45 seconds until our interval starts. 35 minutes. So you're going to break it down into 4. First quarter, you should be like, okay, this is easily maintainable. Second should be like, sorry?
You said 3.
No, 4. I always break it into quarters. First should be easy. Second should be like, Third should be like, no way I can hold this. The fourth is, we can do anything for that last quarter. 13 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, go for it. So this is 35 minutes. First 10 minutes, low cadence for us. I should be able to talk and answer questions for probably the first 5 to 10 minutes. After that, it's going to get difficult. So, Jenny and those online, I'm going to try and keep my cadence around 60. So you can watch my knee. Try and have the foot fall similar to what it is. But I'm on the low end. You can get up to 70. So if you're a bit faster than me, that's okay. Last night I had 2 by 25 minutes above threshold. I wanted to cry. So I looked at the track when I passed it today. It's dirty, but it's clear. So I mean, I'd like to get out there sooner than later. We just have to figure out what time works for most athletes. We may have to start moving our swim from Friday night because we have so many people coming now that we essentially need to rent 2 to 3 lanes, and that's all they have open on Friday. So we may need to move it to Saturday. See if we can. So to give you an idea, Jenny, my heart rate's only at 145 when I'm trying to get to 168, and I'll get there, but it takes time. Yeah, 143 to 145. So 139 to 145 is your zone, but we're gonna be close to the top of that. Slowly. 3 minutes in. I'm sitting nice and comfortable at 63 RPM. Lots of muscular demand here. Trying to focus on smooth, rounded pedal strokes. If you want to equate it to perceived exertion, it's a 7 or 8 out of 10, which is pretty high. Up to 150 beats per minute now.
My kids are gone. It's spring break.
Oh, where'd they go?
One's at Hawaii with another family.
Right on.
And then there are like 3 other families there that are friends, all in the same place in Hawaii.
Oh, that's gonna be so much fun. 5 minutes in.
New York City. My ex.
Oh, right on.
So
I miss New York. I miss visiting New York, not living in it. So you got the house to yourself,
oh my gosh. Forgot what it was like.
peace and quiet, extra time.
Yeah.
4:30. It's like when I was on my trip, not having to put Charlie down or take the dog out. It's like, what am I? I have so much extra time.
No. I always feel like you need to sit down when my kids are like,
Need something. Yep. So that doesn't change after 2.5 years old? Great.
Think about this. I've been tucking my kids in for 14 years.
That's pretty crazy.
Scrub the back, scrub the feet.
Wow.
Not every night now. Sometimes
No, but
right.
yeah.
That, I didn't think about that with kids. All these years, every night.
That's not hours, that's days worth of time now.
Sometimes it's like a 2-hour ordeal. You go down and go up and run to the room.
You're scaring me, Jenny. I have another on the way.
I'm just reminiscing of when my kids were like 2, 3, 4. It's all good though. It's the best time.
Totally. I was having that, I was the only one that had kids on the trip. I was having trouble trying to put into words and explain it. Like, yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah, sometimes it's frustrating. But like, it's awesome. It's hard to explain. Other than continually getting sick, back to back to back to back. Much better. She looks super cute, all pregnant. We had the anatomy ultrasound last week. It all looks well, so that's good. 2.5 minutes left in that first low cadence 10 minutes. So that's 27 and a half left for you, Everett. Really engage that core, trying to get those pedals around with as little movement in the upper body as you can. Yeah, glute med and minor. It's a lot of stabilizers, so that's good for your knee, but your drive really should be coming from your major glute, way back. Think about that femur and pulling it down from the center of it. That'll really activate your glutes. And then your quads will help extend that knee. 1 minute left of the low cadence. Good. I'm at 160, so perfect. It'll come up when we start spinning faster. Ooh, sweating now. 30 seconds. $15. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, increase that cadence. Already you can tell the load comes off your legs. I'm going to try and sit right around 85, but you can go from 80 to 90 here. 15 minutes here. Good, that cadence looks good, Jenny. Nice deep belly breaths. Stay on top of that early. How's your heart rate, Jenny? Okay. Good. No, I'm still sitting around 160. So we're all right. Still got over 20 minutes to continually build the heart rate, so it'll climb. All right, we are 5 minutes into this section, 15 minutes into the workout, 20 left. Hold that cadence. Try and stay nice and relaxed. Halfway through the workout. Jenny, I like the fact that you're keeping your head low.
Yeah.
Don't forget to look forward. Try and strengthen those muscles in the back of your neck. Just about 5 to 10 feet of the floor in front of you. Perfect. Gets your head used to that position. Hang in there, Everett. Working well. Getting hard now. So I'm still lower end for threshold heart rate.
145, 146.
Okay, so you're out there. You may want to dial it back a little bit.
Okay.
If we want to maintain. 5 minutes left of this cadence. Two and a half left at this cadence. Definitely sweating over there, Everett.
What?
I said, you're definitely sweating over there. Good job. One minute at this cadence. Thirty seconds. Sweat in the eyes. Ow. 15. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 90 plus. 25 minutes down, 25 down, 10 to go. Really focus on cadence here. Three-quarters of the interval done. It's Liz. Hi. How you feeling? Oh no. Yeah. That's not good. Oh. I know, Liz, Everett, Liz. He's in an assessment. He can't talk. Play it by ear. Don't worry. Get better first. You don't want to tweak it when it's almost better. Bye. $7:30 left. There we go. Now I'm at 168. Just make it to the 5. We'll go from there. Keep that cadence up, Jenny. 5 minutes. Make it to 3. Four. You're gonna want to fade now. Try not to. Three. Everett, if you got anything left, now's the time to push. Jenny, you hang steady. Keep that spin up. It's fading on me. 230. Two minutes. Hang in there. One minute. Can hold anything for 1 minute. Just hang on. Keep that cadence up. Fight, fight. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5, 3, 2, 1, done. Oh. 10 minutes. Nice and easy. If you need to full stop, full stop. Deep breaths. Good job, Everett. Jenny, your cadence was a thing of beauty. Good job. That last 10, my legs just wanted to say no. It wasn't the power, they just didn't want to move that fast. Whew. Good time to get in fluids, good. Good job, Jenny. How'd that feel for you? Yeah. Your heart rate? That's high. Good. Your threshold might have gone up. Nice and high. So I wouldn't be surprised if your threshold, it was 145? Yeah. Might have gone up from this long effort. But you'll notice in all of our shorter efforts, it's just not long enough for your heart rate to get there and sustain. Right. But these longer efforts, it's better for your confidence because you're like, oh, I am doing the right thing. Don't think that the other ones weren't, because if you're going that hard for 3 minutes, you're doing the right thing. But now we can really use heart rate to our advantage. More control. Like the first 10 minutes, I need to get the press. Yeah. And that's one of the nice things about, say, the half Ironman distance race, is you have time to make corrections, speed up if you need to, slow down if you need to. Whereas a sprint, you need to be dialed in the whole time. So we're going to spend a lot more time in this area, so like 10 to 40 minute intervals, because this is our race specific work, and this is where we can make most gains. So I have a really neat chart from a scientific article, a review article, that went through a ton of research, and it looked at how much gains an athlete, a moderately trained athlete, can make. And so like in anaerobic, it's like 5% improvement. Can't remember the numbers, so don't quote me, but I can send it to you. VO2 max is like 15 to 20%, but FTP, you can improve 30 to 40% in a short-term period. That's enormous. So that's why we're going to spend a lot of time here. No, it's got short-term and long-term. So long-term, so for VO2 max, I said 15 to 30. Long-term, you can do an additional, say, 15%. So that's like, if you train for 2 years, you can still continue to improve that much on top of the short-term. But I'll send you the graph because it's really interesting. And FTP, again, is another 20 to 30% on top of that 30 to 40% short term. So it's all about, yeah. So if my FTP is 240, then you got to think half of that would be 120. So if I gain 50%, that would put me up to 360 with smart, hard, really good training over the course of, say, 2 years, 3 years. VO2 max, we don't have as much room to gain because a lot of that is genetically predetermined. But there still is a lot of room for improvement. 5 more minutes of this nice, easy cool down. Everett, now that you've recovered, how'd that feel for you? Hard? Yeah. gears.
legs like 20 seconds and push back up to a place where I keep my cadence and the power, or
So-
keep my cadence and gear together.
That's a really hard part about being on a trainer too, is sometimes your sweet spot is right between two gears. You gear down, your cadence is high, your power's a little low. You gear up, your cadence is low, your power's really high, and you just want to be right in between that. And so it's tough.
Getting here right, like, right at the end where I wanted to gear down, I was like, my cadence was 95, and I was like, fucking spinning 210 right now.
Yeah.
I just came down from 230 to check over that gear, because I can't keep my cadence in the right spot.
In the right spot for that power. Yeah.
Where I can hold it without the cadence dropping.
So you did the absolute perfect thing of bouncing back and forth between them. So if you're in between those gears, your sweet spot is in between those gears, bounce back and forth. When you spin and you're like, okay, I need more power, gear, jump down, then jump back up. It sucks, but soon with improvement, you'll be right at that gear, and then you'll get in between the next one, and it'll be a pain in the ass again. So I wanted to say in the middle of that interval, but I didn't want to distract you, that one of the graphs I'm going to look at after this is called quadrant analysis, and it breaks your torque, so the power you're putting in around the pedals, and it bases it on different cadence levels. You okay, Jenny, just to make sure? Just want to make sure you're not lightheaded.
No, I'm not lightheaded.
Perfect. Just, you need to keep coughing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, just let me know if you need anything. So it breaks it down into, you produce a lot of torque at low cadence, a lot of torque at high cadence, little torque at low cadence, little torque at high cadence. So I'm going to be able to break down and see where you're really comfortable, where you held. And if it's, say, low cadence, high torque, then we know we need to do high cadence work. If it's actually moderate, normal cadence, it's not worth working on cadence. We really want to work on improving that power or lengthening the duration. So we'll get a lot of really good information out of this. How do you feel your pacing was? Did you go out too hard, too soft, feel good?
I went out, the first like 5 minutes was like 245, 250, and I was like right when you said, okay, 7 minutes, was like,
Holy shit.
I'm not able to hold this at that, so I back it down, like trying to bounce from 220 to 35.
Okay.
That's about where I held it, and then like the last 7 minutes, fucking,
Trying to hold. Yeah.
that's
So
fucking your game.
that's really, so next time we pace it, we'll have a better idea, right? So then you won't necessarily do that beginning 7 minutes hard.
Right.
If you read the blog post I just posted, that's exactly what I did in my 5K race. I went out 5% too hard. Not very much. 5%. And fucking blew up. Just had to hold on. And then you're mentally thinking like, God, I still have 20 minutes left. I need to hang on. And it's just a mental game. But what's good in this effort, where you don't have to think like, oh, I screwed it up, is we burned off some of that anaerobic component. So we really saw where your aerobic level is. And then when you hit that fall off point, that's likely our time to exhaustion, where we'll go from there and start pushing that out a little bit and a little bit more and a little bit more. If you were at 205, you could probably hold it for 55 minutes, but you jump up to 220, and then it's a 20-minute effort. Like, it's amazing how quickly that switches over. In the front end, if you look at that curve I sent you, it starts out, they call it sigmoidal, starts out really high, drops off aggressively, flattens out, and then drops off. Your short-term power, 3 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, drops off so fast. So you can go 400 for 10 seconds, and then you may be 350 for 15 seconds. But when you get out to the longer duration, you can hold 210 for 25 minutes, but 205 for 45 minutes. And like, it just flattens out. So your FTP, in terms of a long time trial, they're gonna be very, very close. So that's, I mean, by the sounds of it, we had a successful test, so I'm excited to look at the data. All right, 5 seconds, and we've got that 10-minute cool down. You can keep spinning for a while. We are all done. Good job, guys. I would recommend that you keep spinning just to get the legs moving, clear everything out. Okay, thank you for everybody who joined us online. We'll see you next week. Please sign up or donate at aspentriathlon.club. Thanks for joining us. Have a good one.